Yes, how are we all doing today? My name is Shoggs and we are back with another video, and today we're doing a tier list. We're doing a tier list because the 2022 season is looming ever closer. It's beginning at the end of March and we've only got a few more weeks until we actually see the first race of the season. So I'm very excited about that. And what better way to kick off the 2022 season than to do a livery tier list. So rating all of the 11 liveries this time out for this season, because that includes both the Alpine car liveries that we're getting so we've got the pink livery and the blue livery. So I'll be rating both of them as well as the other 9 liveries we've seen out on track so far. So let's get into this. Now to start things off, we're going to go with Haas, as it was the first livery that dropped for this season, and I think it's only fitting to start with them. So let's have a look at their car. Now it's a car that, I don't know, I feel like they cheated out a little bit with just sort of copying almost the same design as last year's car. Obviously they've got this like swooping Russian flag that's going on here, but of course because of what's happening in Ukraine at the moment, they've decided to drop Uralkali and Mazepin as well. That's been announced today. So we're no longer going to see this Russian flag swooping along the right hand side and the left hand side of the car, and instead it's just going to be a plain white car with Haas written over it, and unless some other sponsor comes in and changes the livery midway through the season, but I can't really see that happening. I think they're just going to roll out with a white livery with the red Haas logo with the black underbody, which wouldn't be too bad, to be fair. I don't actually mind the Haas car. I didn't really mind the Haas car with the Russian flag itself, but I feel like they just got so much space for some sponsors like on the back end of the car, and they instead tried to fit them all underneath the Haas logo right at the bottom, which I think works well, but I think they could also have room for the sponsors on the car as well. Overall, I'm going to rate this Haas car, I think, where should we rate it? I'm going to put it in the B category for now. I don't mind it, especially with the red soft compounded tyres. I think that works quite well with the Haas livery, but I think it might drop down to a C if some other cars sort of step up to the mark and displace it. Now moving on to the next livery, we're going to go with Red Bull because they were the championship winners last time out in last season, and we're just going to rate their car next. So again, a new season of F1 cars, but they've decided to stick with the same sort of concept that they've got going on. They've got the new Oracle sponsor slap bang in the middle of the car. I think that works very nicely. I think the whole livery works really nicely. I think it's a really well designed livery, and hell, like don't change anything that isn't broke. So I think they were wise to stick with their guns for this season. It would have been a nice move to maybe change things up with a new like base colour maybe. Like I really enjoyed seeing the white last year, but yeah, nonetheless this is a very nice looking car, and we're going to rate it in the A category. It would be S, but in my opinion I feel a bit disappointed by Red Bull because they've decided to stick with the same livery as last year. So I think it would be S if they decided to change a few more things up in their livery, but it's staying in the A category for now. It may be subject to change. We will see at the end of this video. Moving on, and we're going to look at Aston Martin next, and this thing is a thing of beauty in my opinion. Just now that they've managed to lose the pink of the BWT sponsors and they've just gained this whole green and lime car, I feel like it works really nicely. Even like the green Aston Martin badge, I feel like maybe that could be like a nice chrome colour, but even so I think it works really well, especially with this like matte black finish on the bottom of the car, and then like to top it off, the gasoline green colour of the Aston Martin, just perfection in my opinion. These side vents are a bit weird, but you know, I'm not commenting on the new shapes of the cars. I'm going to just comment on the pure aesthetics itself for this tier list. Again, I'm not noting the shape of the car, but it is a very shallow. It's a very low profile for an F1 car this season. Maybe they're trying to be a bit more streamlined, but I just feel like a lot of the other F1 cars, they seem to rise up a bit more, maybe. Unless it's just like the illusion of this lime green strip they got going on here. Obviously the JCB, they can't really change the colour of that, which is a bit disappointing. And then the Aramco, I feel like it doesn't really work there. Maybe having a big Aston Martin badge right at the back would have been better. But I feel like it's going in the A tier for me. Like I said, it's perfection, but there are still a few things wrong with it, like the sponsors maybe, that just haven't really worked well with this car. Up next, AlphaTauri. Now, when I first saw this car, I thought it looked beautiful, but then there was just something off with it. I don't know what it was, but I feel like it's just like a dull, it might look better on track to be fair, but it's just like the very dull blue that they've got going on. It should be, I feel like it should be more of a metallic car than a matte car, and it's just, I don't know, it just feels very dull for an F1 car. I like the little Italian strip you got going on the front wing. That's a really nice hint. And I really like the shape of the AlphaTauri badge they got going on here, as well as the more horizontal Red Bull badge as well. But for me, it's just something's off with it. Like this, I hate that, and I hate this. Flexbox, I feel like it just ruins the whole car, to be fair. Just the little orange X's. I know they can't really change much about the branding, but I feel as well the blue could maybe be defined by like a black strip going on. I feel like that might be a bit better look to sort of separate the dark blue, sort of dull colour, and the white of the car. I also don't really like the big AlphaTauri lettering going on the front wing. I feel like it's just been too like warped just to fit the front wing. But apart from that, it's a very nice car, and we're gonna rate it on the same level as the Haas for now. I feel like they both are very average looking cars in my opinion this year. I much prefer the AlphaTauri last year, but nevertheless, let's move on. And up next, we're taking a trip over to the team that bossed it throughout the turbo hybrid era of the F1 cars. It's the Mercedes garage, and this thing, I don't know, they've tried to re-embrace the silver arrows concept that they've had before, and initially I really liked it. I thought it was a beautiful looking car, especially like little hints of red going on underneath parts of the wings and the wheel arches, and just underneath the rear wing as well. But then you look at the side of the car, and the electric blue that they've got going on just isn't bright enough for me. I like the AMG logo that they've got here, as well as the AMG on the tyres. But then these little Mercedes logos, what would you call them, triangles? I really like the triangles, but then mixed in with the sponsors, maybe the sponsors should have been like a different colour, or just move them away from these triangles. I just feel like they don't really work together in harmony, and then it just causes like a mix match of blacks, and they don't really stand out. You want, as a sponsor, as your team sponsor, you want your brand to stand out on the car, and they've not done this for TeamViewer or Petronas actually, and they've sort of just mixed them in between these triangles and tried and just hoped it would work well, and it just hasn't. I feel like TeamViewer maybe should have just moved down the bottom here next to the Petronas, and then also the little red hat that they've got going on, or maybe just move TeamViewer up here, remove the red hat, and replace it as a red halo. I feel like a red halo would have worked really nicely, just because like obviously Niki Lauda and his red hat, obviously Ineos, it's their branding as well, and you can move all that to the halo now, but they just decided not to do it. So nevertheless, it's a nice looking car from a certain point of view. Do I think it's as good as the 2019 car or the 2018 car? No, nowhere close. But I do like the more simplistic look of it with the little triangles at the back. And we're gonna put it in the B's here, and move Haas and AlphaTauri down actually. Sorry guys. Meanwhile, over at the sister team of Mercedes, you got Williams, and their car I feel like is a downgrade from last year. I think I can see why certain people like it, but I really like last year's car. I really like the fact that they paid homage to their old retro design, including like the yellow into the car. But I feel like now they've gone for like this is like red strip with the Williams car, and I just feel like it doesn't really work. Maybe they should just had it all blue, or like different shades of blue, how they have here. But how they've included this red, and even in the build-up to like the build-up video for Williams's launch date, they just showed like the retro designs of like the yellow included in the car, and they just decided to scrap that and just go with a red and blue car. Yeah, personally, I feel like they should have included a little bit of white into this design, but if they didn't want to include any white, maybe just have like a yellow strip instead of the red one. I don't know, I feel like they could have done so much more with this design. I really like the W though, and then it's like a scaled up version here. I really like that. But you can definitely see that they've left room for more sponsors to be added onto the car. But overall, we're gonna rate it somewhere in between here. I'm saying B. Just about edges into the B tier. I feel like the metallic design sort of finish to it just helps it more than the AlphaTauri, because yeah, I really don't like the matte finish on the AlphaTauri, and then the Haas car is just too samey, and too boring. So that's why they both get moved down. Now we've got the car that was released last in the whole perspective of the launch dates, and that's the Alfa Romeo. Now they've gone for a camouflage design. I'm just kidding. They haven't really. They've gone for a design that I actually really like. I feel like this design works really, really well. But I really like the shade of red that they've used within this Alfa Romeo. It's like a candy floss red, and it's such a nice looking red to look at. And then the sort of horizontal diagonal stripe that they've got going on, I really like that too. I feel like they could have included the actual logo here, maybe like how the AlphaTauri does, to incorporate both sides of like the red and the white, and then the wheel covers are they're a thing of beauty, really, aren't they? And then the fonts are really well spaced out as well. I'm a massive fan of this car, and for that reason, as well as the Italian flag on the back. Oh, mamma mia! For that reason, it's going in the S tier. Better than the Red Bull, better than the Aston Martin. I can't really say too many things wrong about that car, to be fair. Maybe just that the diagonal line needs to be a bit more sharper, to be a bit more like aggressive, as well as the logo. But then, you know, don't necessarily need that. Now, moving away from Italy, and we're going to France, and we're having a look at the new Alpine car, the blue version, not the pink one. First up, so blue one. I don't mind it, but I feel like there's a lot going on in this car. You just got so much. Obviously, the pink was going to be make its mark on this car somewhere, but I didn't realise there's going to be this much pink in the car. I like the pink rear ring. I feel like that works well, but then they've just sort of chucked all these different sponsors along the car, just not really having too much thought in where they go. Maybe I feel like the Castrol could have worked right on the top here. But what could they have done with it though? Well, obviously got the French flag going on and the matte free red. Maybe you could include both of them at the back here, so it sort of transitions from the French flag into matte free at the back. Obviously you got the number there though, so that would be a bit of an issue. Maybe the French flag would need to come all the way up to the top. That could work. I don't actually mind all this like pink with the blue, like I said, and then the Castrol, that also should be moved, and then a little hint of pink right at the back of the tail here. Maybe just have not a pink rear wing. I think that sort of ruins it as well. I think maybe the rear wing just needs to be blue, or maybe black. A black rear wing could work. But yeah, overall, we're ranking this car. I'm going to rank it in the B section because The next car up is the pink version of the Alpine that's running for, I believe it's Bahrain and Jeddah. And this car, and this thing, it's a Racing Point essentially. But does it look better than a Racing Point? I think when you do compare the two cars, I think it does look better than a Racing Point in my opinion. Now that you've lost a lot of the white from the Racing Point, it does look better than that, but is it an upgrade on last year's car and is it an upgrade on the blue version? I probably wouldn't say so. It is difficult to make a pink car look good on an F1 car. And I just think if they just stop the pink here, that would have worked, like how the Alfa Romeo does with the slanted diagonal line, and then just transitioned into like the blue Alpine maybe. That maybe could have been better. I do like like I said, I do like the pink rear wing and the pink front wing, and also like this bit up until the halo. And then maybe it could have just gone like a nice little transition from maybe like the French flag into the blue. But once again, yeah, the sponsors are just everywhere on this car, and for me, I feel like it's harsh to put it in the D category, but I feel like the Haas and the Alpha Tauri are both better cars than it, so we're putting it in the D category. I don't think it deserves to be there, but it is there for now. Now, on to the last two liveries of this video, and we're saving the best till last. Two of my favourites to do well for this year, so let's see if they brought out some good cars for this season. Now first up, we're having a look at McLaren, because I feel like out of the two, they are the lesser of the two, unfortunately, because I had high hopes for McLaren's livery this year, but I feel like it's just a bit underwhelming. I like how they've used all of this black that they tried to incorporate into this design. I feel like it's a really nice touch, and it sort of shows a more aggressive side to the McLaren. And then I feel like the blue, it's nice, but I feel like it just hasn't been positioned too well, as well as just like the side, oh, they're the wrong cars, as well as just like the side profile of the car. I feel like it's not very aggressive, and just like the Aston Martin as well, it's got a very low profile, very shallow profile to it. So I feel like the black line going horizontally across it doesn't really help in that sense. I feel like it should be maybe more of a sort of steeper line, but yeah. And then like this orange bit as well, it just seems like a bit of wasted space. I do like this like blue, like the blue strip they got going on here, but again, I feel like maybe they could have done better. And I feel like that sort of phrase just sums up their livery in my opinion. So it's going in A. They could have done better. I feel like all of these cars, maybe the Aston Martin shouldn't really be there, but could have done better, basically, this category. Last, but certainly not least, it's the Ferrari. And when you think of Ferraris, this is spot on. It's spot on. Going into a new era, and they brought back the classic sort of design that you think of Ferrari. They've incorporated the new Santander logo branding into the car, and everyone thought maybe there's going to be a bit more white to this car, like how we saw in like the 2018-19 I think cars. But no, they've stuck with the guns and gone with a black gradient effect into the very vibrant Ferrari red that we see on all the Ferrari cars, and it's just worked. It's worked perfectly. I feel like the white on the black of the Santander on the front wing works really well. The placement of the Shell logo, that's also done really well. Maybe not on the side profile, but maybe it could be like replaced with the Ferrari badge. I feel like that might be a bit better. But the logos aren't too bad. And then I really like the sort of gradient into the black rear wing as well, and the black hubcaps. And that's why the Scuderia family are topping the charts in my tier list. So we've got Alfa Romeo, Ferrari at the top of the table in the S tier, Red Bull, Aston Martin, McLaren in the A tier, both all supreme cars. And then in the B tier, which is the average sort of looking cars for this year, I've gone for the Mercedes, the Williams and the blue Alpine livery. And then C tier, Haas and AlphaTauri, both could have done better. I feel like Haas had its limitations with Eurocali, I can't even say that word. And then bottom of the table, less said about that livery, the better really. So yeah, that's my tier list. Let me know your thoughts on this tier list and on this video. If you did enjoy this video, then hit that like button down below in the comment section. And if you're new to this channel, why not stick around and hit that subscribe button down below as well whilst you're there. I'll hopefully have lots more videos on the way for this up and coming 2022 season, so be sure to stick around for that. But until next time, I'll see you later.